When President Obama announced last week that he will unveil his big new jobs plan at the beginning of September, among the first to pounce on that announcement, among the first to go on the attack about it, was the current frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination.
He's going to come out on November 6th with his jobs plan. Why hasn't he come out with it already?
September, actually, not November. But still, the point is, why hasn't he come out with it already? September 6th is way too late. Why even bother? The punchline on that attempted attack from Mitt Romney, though, was his line that came next.
I'm also in Nevada on September 6th, and I will be coming out with my jobs plan, and it's going to be very different than his.
Mitt Romney says the September 6th is way too late to come out with a jobs plan. He also says that his own jobs plan will come out on the September 6th. That's like death by palindrome. But beyond Mitt Romney's inherent awkwardness ruining yet another attempted attack by him on the president, there's also the substantive matter here of jobs, the substantive question of whether or not Mitt Romney's campaign is connecting with the American people on what they want to be the central issue of their campaign, the economy. When people think about Mitt Romney, Republican frontrunner, when people think about Mitt Romney and jobs, what exactly do they think about?
I'm also unemployed. And I'm not working. I've been doing a lot better than what we've done.
Mitt Romney prompting giggles and cringes around the country and around the table he was sitting at when he tells a group of unemployed Florida residents that he, too, is unemployed. And it is true. Mitt Romney is technically an unemployed multimillionaire private equity executive running for president by saying things like this.
Corporations are people, my friend. We can raise taxes on... Of course they are.
The I'm also unemployed moment and the corporations are people moment both seemed like Mitt Romney gaffes when he did those things. I mean, since some of the major baggage he brings to this race is that the money he has that he didn't inherit is what he made as a private equity mogul, shutting down companies, liquidating their assets, and firing their American workers. So he can't really afford to be showcasing on the campaign trail the corporations are people, heartless zillionaire side of his personality. In what seemed like an effort to course correct after those errors, Mitt Romney has recently tried to pivot. He tried on a man of the people line recently when he attacked President Obama for vacationing in Martha's Vineyard. That line of attack quickly deflated, however, once we all figured out that Mitt Romney's own schedule showed him to be going to Martha's Vineyard at the exact same time that President Obama would be there. Mr. Romney going straight from the vineyard to the Hamptons. No, I'm not kidding. Mr. Romney's foray into everyman, make fun of the rich people, blue-collar populism did not go very well. And he now appears to be over that already. In fact, Mitt Romney now appears to be just embracing the zillionaire thing. He's just going with it now. This is a campaign strategy that around our office we have been calling going for the full Thurston.
The whole thing sounds so darn democratic.
Do you understand the principle involved? After all, you're a man of ethics.
You sure know how to cut a man, don't you? All right, I hereby officially place myself under hot arrest.
Thurston, you're a convict.
Lovey, I've been framed. I'll appeal. I'll take it to Supreme Court. I'll go even higher. Rules Committee of the Newport Country Club.
Thurston Howell III, the millionaire from Gilligan's Island who stole every scene he was in. My best guess is that Mitt Romney's campaign figured out that Mitt Romney is going to keep saying things on the campaign trail like corporations are people, and he will keep joking with unemployed people that he, too, is unemployed. Mitt Romney can't be totally scripted. He has to be let out into the wild around real humans every once in a while, and he keeps saying stuff like that. I believe the campaign has decided that instead of covering those things up when they happen one by one, they're just going to run with this. They're just going to go for the full Thurston. Instead of backing off the whole corporations or people thing, for example, the Romney campaign has now decided to turn the corporations for people line into a campaign ad, as if maybe this might be a good slogan for them. News leaked yesterday that the Romney family has decided to apply for a permit to quadruple the size of their $12 million beachfront mansion outside San Diego. The reason given by the Romney campaign for quadrupling the size of the mansion. The current 3,000 square foot mansion is, quote, inadequate for their needs. That was the statement from the campaign. I'm telling you, I think this is a deliberate strategy. When the Washington Post reported a guesstimate a few weeks ago of Mitt Romney's net worth, the Romney campaign wrote to them to correct the Washington Post's guess and say they wanted it to be made clear that an accurate range for Mr. Romney's wealth is between $190 million and $250 million. They would like to be on the record about that, please. Then this strange little story popped up in the Hill newspaper yesterday, a story about Mitt Romney stealing all of Barack Obama's big dollar Wall Street donors. The people that usually tip off a news outlet about that sort of thing is the campaign that's doing the stealing, not the campaign that's being stolen from. There's no direct evidence that this is a Romney campaign planted story in the Hill, but it is a very pro-Romney story about Romney donors. And it does come complete with this blind quote from one of those donors. Quote, "It's not healthy for rich people to feel maligned," the executive said. The executive said, of course. But then, after all of this happens, this is why I think this has to be deliberate. All right, Mitt Romney went on Fox News yesterday. He's out on the campaign trail, so Fox has to put him in a satellite studio somewhere where he's campaigning. What is the image that the Romney handlers allow to be used as the backdrop for their candidate in this studio? Look, there's Mitt Romney positioned in front of a whole row of yachts. I'm telling you, this has to be a strategy. You can't do this many things by accident. Mitt Romney is the front runner for the Republican presidential nomination. This kind of stuff cannot happen by accident over and over again. For a while, I think all of these things maybe were just gaffes. But now it really does seem like they're doing this deliberately. The Romney campaign is going for the full Thurston. If he starts insisting that we call him Willard instead of Mitt from now on, then we will have full confirmation. Joining us now is Eugene Robinson, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for The Washington Post and an MSNBC political analyst. Willard, thank you for being here tonight. Mind if I call you Willard?
Yes, I do mind,
I'm
actually,
sorry.
Rachel.
I take it back.
But listen, here, just before we start, I have a question. Okay, so Mitt Romney is Thurston Howell III, right? So does that mean that John Huntsman is the professor, even though he has a lot of money, because he believes in global warming and he believes in evolution? Then Michelle Bachmann could be Mary Ann, Sarah Palin, of course, as Ginger.
Wait. You've got Ginger and Mary Ann backwards.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I'm going with Bachmann as Marianne,
really?
and Palin as Ginger.
I totally see Bachmann as Ginger. But okay, keep going.
Okay, but there it ends, because who's the captain? Who's Gilligan?
Well, the skipper, it's hard to say, because the skipper is an unusual. I mean, the thing is that if you're thinking about this just in terms of pure impression, Ron Paul is the skipper. Don't you think?
Yeah. I was thinking Ron Paul for Gilligan and maybe Newt Gingrich for the skipper. How about that?
Oh, Gingrich is a little skippery. All right, then Gilligan is, that does put Rick Perry in the position of being Gilligan, and I would prefer for Gilligan to be Rick Santorum, but I'm afraid Rick Santorum will sue me for even saying that because of some obscure interpretation of what I've said that he'll reveal as religiously offensive.
Yes, right. I think that's a given, so we won't go there. Now we can start.
3-hour tour. Now we've done it. All right, can a candidate turn the heartless rich guy caricature into a strength by embracing the heartless rich guy caricature?
I don't think so. I mean, but why not try it? I mean, he is who he is, after all. And I had doubts as to whether this was deliberate. But when you look at the expansion of the $12 million mansion, seafront mansion, for example, the stories go on to say he's not even planning to do the work until after the campaign. So why apply for the permit now? Why make it public now if you're not even planning to move into your 10 or 17,000 or however big the new mansion is going to be? So maybe he just wants to embrace himself. It's not good for the rich to feel maligned, Rachel.
But when the campaign put out their statement in response to the mansion thing, they obviously could have delayed responding to that for as long as they wanted. They didn't respond instantly. They had a little time to come up with something, and what they came up with is that the existing $12 million mansion was inadequate for his needs. And yes. That made me just wonder whether or not this was deliberate, and whether or not the idea was that you try to sort of get an aspirational vote. You try to get sort of a Steve Forbes-style vote for me because I'm rich and you could be rich too. It's
well,
almost...
Steve Forbes did so well well, though. You know? President Forbes, no. So I think that only takes you so far. But that is an odd phrasing, isn't it? Inadequate to his needs, as if, of course, we all need more than a 3,000 square foot seafront mansion. We all need more than that.
How do you think that a line like that is? I mean, you're from Orangeburg, South Carolina. How is the full Thurston going to play in South Carolina? I mean, if this is deliberate and this isn't just sort of gaffe, a multiplied gaffe now compounded by the campaign, if they're really doing this, can you imagine? I mean, he's going to have to deal with the South Carolina electorate sooner rather than later.
He is. I don't think it will play particularly well in South Carolina, and he really does have to deal with that electorate because he's not going to win Iowa. He's going to perhaps win New Hampshire. Then you get to South Carolina, which has a record of choosing the eventual nominee, and he needs to do well there. And, you know, in the heavily Republican sort of rock-ribbed parts of the state, they don't have even 3,000 square foot seaside mansions. They're just not that common. And so I don't know if that's going to play well at all.
All right. Eugene Robinson, Washington Post columnist and MSNBC political analyst. Gene, I have to tell you, since we've been on the air, the Gingrich campaign has called us demanding that he be the professor. So we're going to have to consider how we reply, my friend. Thank you, Gene.
Okay.
Right.
We can reconsider.
All right. Amid all of today's literally earth-shaking events, Michelle Bachmann thinks she has a magic solution to make gas prices drop below $2 a gallon. Had we not just made a whole Gilligan's Island analogy, I would make a bewitched one about doing that thing with your nose. Ed Schultz has the magic details about that coming up right after the show. And here, if you liked no-pants subway rides, and who doesn't like no-pants subway rides, you are going to love the best new thing in the world today, which is coming up right at the end of the show.